That's my real name, I swear. I can show you my license afterwards if you want to see it. And I also swear that I did not coordinate with Sam before any of this took place tonight, because my best day ever has a very similar theme. It was funny because the other day I was in Bed Bath & Beyond getting what you get there in the Beyond part of the store, and I see a piece of art that says, "Family is everything." And it made me chuckle because, you hear that phrase all the time, or at least I did growing up. And when you grow up in an abusive household, it's very confusing. And you realize that family is everything. Well, everything sucks. It really, really sucks. But you still try and do the right thing, and you talk to your friends, and they say, well, you only have one mom, right? You only have one dad. So you've got to work it out. And it was in the fall of, maybe the summer of 2013 when I think my family and I realized that my father was going to die from oral cancer. Don't smoke, that's the moral of the story tonight. But beyond that, we knew that he was terminal at that point. So I travel a lot for work. I'm a teacher, but I don't actually contribute to society. As a side note, I'm a corporate cog. So thank you to all of you who give back. I'm not one of them. All right, so anyway, I travel a lot, and I started to put together very complex flights. I work for a global company, so I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, so it was Pittsburgh, Prague, Jacksonville, Palo Alto, Tokyo, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Prague. I mean, it was all over the place. And it was tough, but he was dying, and he liked it when I took care of him because I was the only one willing to put scotch into his feeding tube. But I digest. Anyway, so, finally we get the call in June of 2014 that we're going to hospice, right? The time has come. So I go down there, and I hadn't actually seen my sisters or my stepmother in a while. And they don't like me. I'm the black sheep. It's very difficult being divorced, even though my parents are. Divorced and childless and a Democrat and fat all at the same time. I'm their walking worst nightmare. But I go in there, and of course the snacks I brought weren't correct, and the things I was saying weren't right, and I wasn't parking the car in the right place. And so my stepmother comes up to me and says, your sister's boyfriend is coming into town tomorrow, and he needs a place to stay, so you're going to have to leave the house. Now, unfortunately, and it is unfortunate, my parents are obnoxiously wealthy, so I'm like, okay, we have 27 bedrooms, and there's 5 adults, but okay. I'll get a room. And it was 11 o'clock at night, so I said, how about we get the room tomorrow? I just stay at the house tonight, that's fine. So as I start to walk out, my sister says, let me walk with you. And as we're walking together, she's telling me, you know how much Mom hates you. And I knew this. My mother and I had been estranged for a long time at that point, about 5 years. And then, my stepmother hates you too, everything's terrible. You haven't been taking care of Dad very well. And I just looked at her finally after all of this prodding and said, I'm really sick of getting kicked out of my goddamn family. Sometimes I just want to die. Which, this is another lesson for everyone, don't ever say that in Florida. Because the next thing you know, I'm suddenly surrounded by police cars and the FBI, actually. When your parents are wealthy, they're also connected. So I'm suddenly in the back of the police car in handcuffs, and there is this FBI guy is talking to the police officers and saying, all we've ever wanted is to never have to deal with her again. So could you please take her away? So we get to the psych ward, and they wouldn't let me pee, and people are walking around naked and screaming, and there's no bed, so I'm sitting in the middle of the floor. And all of a sudden I thought, holy shit, family is nothing. This is a bunch of bullshit. Right? All we are the A's and the T's and the G's and the C's, hanging out in a similar way, wrapped around histones of bullshit and abuse and codependency that I am now carrying through my generation. And I thought, maybe I just need to let this go. Maybe I need not to try so hard. And when you do that, and when you finally make that realization that all you have to do is set down the rocks, even if the rocks are all related to you, then you can actually find room in your life for recovery, Please go to Adult Children of Alcoholics. It's amazing, and it changed my life. But when you find recovery and you get room in your life for healthy relationships and love, the most important one, of course, being falling in love with yourself, then you realize through all of that any day that you feel as though you've been reborn has got to be the best day ever. Thank you.